Hey everyone, it's Lisa Danforth here today for the LinkedIn Live, and I am flying solo today. I don't have a guest joining me. I'm going to share a little bit about alignment, balance, and really creating a saner approach to success. I've been hearing from so many people about how we reach this level of success that we wanted in our lives, that we've been shooting for, but then there's this lack of fulfillment that we're experiencing. And what made me think about jumping on really was I was speaking with a client just last week who said, I have been working for 20 years to get to this level in my business. She's like, I've finally achieved it. I've got the clients that I want. I'm making the income that I want. But it's not what I expected. It's not what I wanted. So I thought I just kind of wanted to jump on, share a bit about aligning our work life and our personal life so that we can create the life that we want, create a saner approach to success so that we can achieve fulfillment, we can experience fulfillment and the joy that our work is supposed to be bringing us. So I'd really like for today to be sort of an interactive conversation. If you have some questions, please pop them in the chat. Let's share and learn from each other. I would really appreciate that. And you can also pop in there where you're dialing in from around the world or from Vermont. I'm in Burlington, Vermont, and it is a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous sunny day. So let's jump right in. I'm going to share just a little bit about me. I know I always interview a client a guest and share a bit about them. I want to share a little bit about me and why it is that I've got the experience and for talking about fulfillment, talking about balance. And really, I've been a 28-year, 5-time entrepreneur. I will not go into it in detail, but basically when I was in college, I had a cleaning company that I could work around my schedule. And then I moved to Vermont in 1990. I hate to say it was that long ago, and started a children's wear business called Bottom Buddies that I ran for 8 years and had all 56 home sewers. We shipped internationally. The tail was definitely wagging the dog a bunch in that business. Sold it, and then started a catering business, which I ran for 14 years and had a large team all over. We catered all over Vermont, and I've been coaching for the last 7 years. So I definitely have learned a thing or two. For some reason, it's often been the hard way. I want to just give a quick shout out to Rhonda Burns. Rhonda, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. Rhonda was a guest, one of my first guests on the LinkedIn Live. So thanks for joining us. If you have any questions, Rhonda, please post them below. So I'm going to jump right in. And again, please participate. Please throw your questions out there or your comments. And I'm going to start by saying, can we all agree that the balance that we seek, we're not going to achieve it by working harder and achieving more? That's really what throws us out of balance in the first place, right? We're just trying to do so much so we can finally achieve that balance, finally create the life that we want. And I'll often say that I think balance is BS, because when we seek balance, what we're doing is we're looking at where we're at and where we want to go, and it's highlighting the gap. I just did a video on this. I think it was on Monday I posted it. And when we're sitting in that, we're looking at all of these different things that we need to do, and we create this lengthy to-do list. It's not necessarily a success list. It's not looking at the Pareto principle, the 20% of the items in our life that are going to achieve 80% of the results, right? And there's this law of diminishing return that comes into play when we're working so hard and trying to get so much out there that we actually wind up being less efficient and less productive and investing more time. And here's the thing, when we're doing that, we're kind of playing whack-a-mole, right? We're just like, check this off the list, check this off the list, check this off the list. And we're just trying to make it through the day. And when we do that, when our head is down, we're not looking towards the future. We're not seeking towards the future of what it is that we specifically want. And then the thing is when we are not looking towards the future, how do we determine what it is that we want? When we're not looking towards the future, when we're not thinking about it, our thoughts create the future that we want. Our thoughts help really design it. Now, you've probably heard me say several dozen times the importance of having clarity and the importance of having a vision for the life that we want and for the business that's going to sustain that life, not consume it. The same thing goes for that balance that we seek. Now, I Googled work-life balance right before I jumped on, and almost 1.5 million results popped up in less than a second. It was like 0.57. There's a lot of people out there that are seeking work-life balance. Yet, is it truly balance that we're seeking? Because I don't know anyone really that wants everything within their life to sort of weigh the same. What we're looking for is more time in the things that fulfill us, more time with the people that we want to explore relationships with. And it's about aligning our choices in the moment with the results that we're looking for. I love this quote by Gary Keller. He asks, why do we have goals in the first place? It's to be appropriate in the moment, right? So that when we are at a choice of do I look at those cat videos for the next half an hour, or do I pick up the phone and I make those sales calls that I really want to make, that to be able to get out there. It is aligning our choices and our behaviors with the life that we want to live. And again, the business or the career that's going to sustain that life. A lot of the work I do is aligning personal and professional. And I have someone texting me saying that they're not seeing me. So I'm just going to give a quick text back and say I am on. And hopefully they're going to join us. So hopefully everyone's seeing us. I know Rhonda is here. It looks like Rhonda's dialing in from LinkedIn, which is great. Rhonda says, clarity helps determine my actions each day. Such valuable advice, right? How do we determine what it is we need to be focusing on? Thank you, Rhonda. I really appreciate that comment, because so often we are getting into action and we're moving towards something without having the clarity of where it is that we want to go, or even the results that we want to achieve. When we have that long-term vision, right? When we've got that vision of what success looks like, at least directionally correct, we can then start saying no to things that are taking us off from our path, that maybe even look like it is a wonderful opportunity. When we've got that longer term vision, it allows us to back out of it and set our shorter term goals in context to those longer term goals. So again, we know specifically what it is going. So, Laura, hey, Laura, thanks so much for joining. Laura and I just connected today on LinkedIn. It says like running in place, right? You're working harder, but you're not making the traction or the movement that you truly want. But that's the thing, is so often when I speak with business owners, they say that they know what they want, but when we sit down and really hone it out, they're lacking that clarity of vision. And again, when we're lacking that clarity, how do we determine what has earned the right to be on our calendar, to consume our one non-renewable resource, our time? So we need to know what it is that we're looking for, so we can back out and create, here's what I'm focusing on that's moving me closer to my dial, to the what it is that I seek. Again, personally and professionally, we have to be looking at what are the relationships that we want to achieve. I know when I was catering, I look back and it still bothers me that I would do this. I'd be on my computer shooting out an email at the end of the day, or maybe putting a proposal together. And my kids would say, hey, can we go out and do something? And I'd be like, just 10 minutes. And then when they wouldn't come back in 10 minutes, I'd be like, whoo, score. I've got more time to work on what I want to work on. And that's sad, because then my kids I was teaching my kids to not trust me when I said 10 minutes. Or maybe I was on the sofa, we were all watching a movie together. Yet I'm on my phone in my inbox, right? Who here has done that? Can you post me in the chat? The only way that we can shift that up is to be intentional, to be super clear. One of the things I talk a great deal about are boundaries. You've probably heard me talk as much about boundaries as I have about clarity and vision. But here's the thing about boundaries that I think a lot of us sort of mix up or trip up on. Boundaries are all about what we will agree to, what we're saying yes to, and what we're saying no to. It's not about what other people will say or do. And that's why I think a lot of people struggle with boundaries is they feel like it's divisive. They feel like it's you're over here and I'm over here and it's not collaborative. But boundaries create respect. Boundaries set expectations. And when we lack boundaries, who here has lacked boundaries and said yes to something when they really wanted to say no? And that creates the frustration and that agitation towards the other person, but really it's us that we chose to say yes to. I don't know about you, but I have so many times over the years said yes to more on my plate without saying no to something else so that I could make space for that time. Yeah. Laura says, guilty, and work on it every day. I still work on it. And it is a forever goal of mine to be more present, to be more intentional. And one of the things that I like to recommend is looking at, what are the habits that we need to create that's going to build the life that we want to live. Right? We are what we intentionally do. We are what we repeatedly do. I think it's Aristotle that said that. So those things that we continually do are creating the results that we are experiencing in the moment. So one of the things that are so helpful is looking at what are the habits? What's just one habit that we could put in place that allows us to make more choices that are in alignment with where we want to go. With habits, I like to say create an identity-based habit or an identity-based goal. Here's an example of what that is. Let me back up for a second. Identity-based as opposed to outcome-based. Here's a really simple example so you can kind of see and experience the energy of the difference. You have two people who have quit smoking or trying to quit smoking. One person, someone hands them, a pack of cigarettes. Hey, you want a cigarette? The other one that were like, no, man, I'm trying to quit. I'm trying to quit. Right. The other person, someone offers them a cigarette and they say, no, I'm not a smoker. They're identifying as someone who doesn't smoke, and it makes it that much easier to make that choice, right? When we identify as someone who does something or doesn't do something, it makes it easier in the moment to make that choice. I'm going to say, can't stay. Oh, thanks so much for joining us. I really appreciate it, Laura. So when we're able to make those choices, we can start voting, casting that vote. We only need 51-49 to start being the person that we want to be so that we can be intentional and build the business or the career that's going to sustain the life that we want to live. And that is so incredibly important. Our business life and our personal life are not mutually exclusive. They're interdependent. Study after study shows that when we have a healthy, and when we're making healthy choices and we've got a happy, joyful home life, it impacts our work life. And we're able to say no. We're able to create more balance for what it is that we're looking for. We're able to align our choices more intentionally and be the person. So in addition to habits and creating those identity-based habits, a goal is a place to come from. What does balance look like for you? Just like, with a business vision, we need to know what it is that we're looking for so that we can make the choices. What does balance look like for you? What is it truly that you're seeking? How much time is enough time with your kids? And make sure that that quality time is on your calendar. Ask them what's more important. Ask them what's most important to them, your spouse, your friends, so that we're incredibly clear of who we need to be and how we need to show up instead of assuming that we need to attend every single soccer game and piano recital or whatever it may be. Get super clear on what it is that's important to them and make sure that that is on your calendar so that you're aligning your choices with the person that you want to be so that you can create the business, you can build the relationships that you want to build. Are there any questions out there? I'm going to look over here. No. All right. So again, I really want to talk about alignment, work-life alignment rather than work-life balance. When we're aligning our choices, we're saying no to those things that are distractions. We're saying no to those things that are guised as this amazing opportunity. Yet it's truly a distraction because we know when we know specifically where we're headed, something that's just 2 degrees, 5 degrees off from course is going to have us wind up in an incredibly different place than where we had intended. So really looking at the dashboard, where is it that I'm heading? Is this going to take me where I want to go? Or is it taking me off course? Am I investing my time or am I spending my time on something? One tip that I suggest to all the people that I speak with, especially my clients, is actually carving out thinking time throughout your calendar, throughout your day and throughout your week. Margin time, thinking time, whatever it is that you want to call it. I've had many clients. In fact, one client I was just speaking with yesterday said one of the things that he said at the very beginning of our work together was, when I said, what's one thing that if you implemented it, that habit that would make the greatest impact on your business and your personal life? And he said margin, right? That thinking time to pause and to think, to question, what am I doing consistently right that's creating the balance that I seek? Or what am I doing right that's inconsistent that I could double down on that would create more of what I want? And what am I doing consistently that's taking me off course? It's only when we pause, it's only when we step back and really look at our choices can we make that decision. There's a great book. I can't remember the name of it now. The Road to Less Stupid. And then the author talks about he made a multi-million-dollar mistake, and he can attribute it all the way back to not scheduling thinking time. He lost his business because he didn't pause and step back and think and look at what is most important to me. What does fulfillment look like to me? How are my choices each and every day impacting not only myself and my business, but those around me? I want to actually hold on. Kate Payne, just so you know. It looks like Kate, couple people, Kate, are on LinkedIn. So I'm not quite sure what the issue is there. But we're going to go. Ron says, knowing when to say yes and when to say no is really important. I can't agree with you more. And in order to do that, we need to pause, right? We need to step back and take a moment and look at it. If you are someone who has a difficult time saying no, here's something that I recommend. Instead of immediately reacting, just pause for a second and say, I have to get back to you on that. Or will you get back to me on that in a week? And that allows you enough time to stop and look at your calendar and look at, is this something I really want to say yes to? Or am I just saying yes because it's an automatic, it's a habit that I'm used to? And if someone's used to you always saying yes, what's going to happen is they're probably going to push you a little bit because they know that you're going to give in. Here's something that I highly recommend, and it has worked for all of my clients who have implemented it. And it's when someone is pushing you forward and asking you for the decision in the moment, say, well, if you need a decision right now, I'm afraid it's going to have to be no. But if you're willing to get back with me in 3 days or a week, whatever it is, I would love to look at my calendar and make sure that I can do the work that you're asking me to do justice, that it fits in. So that gives you enough of a pause if you're not quite ready to say no to more people so that you can say yes to what it is that you want more of. Just ask them to get back with you. And that creates enough space for you to think about it and be able to have a more intentional reaction. But I wanted to back up in just a moment and talk about, that thinking time. I wanted to read a quote. Jeff Weiner, who is the LinkedIn executive chairman, he has this great video, and he says, if you're not thinking about the future, if you're not thinking about how to navigate a constantly shifting landscape, you're going to end up back on your heels and reacting to your environment rather than playing your own game. And think about it. When you're off balance, it doesn't take much. It takes one little finger, right, to keep you perpetually off balance. And that thinking time allows you to get grounded, allows you to get solid. We've got some more people joining us. Hey, James, I so appreciate you always showing up. I really appreciate it. It's awesome. And then Don, thank you for joining us. Practicing no is an amazing exercise, right? Thank you. And we have to practice it in order to get ourselves there. Here's the thing, though, and it goes back to 5149. We need to just start voting towards the type of person who honors themselves, honors their time, and honors the relationships by saying no. And how we do that, honestly, is pausing so that we can make a choice in the moment of, do I truly want to be doing this? It says, James, seems to be a problem on LinkedIn, but we're here now. Thank you. Not sure. I wonder if that is StreamYard. I will check into it. So thank you, everyone, for mentioning things. So saying no more lets you say yes to other opportunities. Yes, Kate. Kate and I have talked about boundaries before and creating that balance. We need to be able to say no so that we can say yes to the things that are most important to us. And again, it's not necessarily creating the balance. I would invite you to explore it from a different angle, really looking at, instead of saying, is this creating balance in my life? Even, right? Is this aligning? Is the choice that I'm making in this moment an investment of my time of what I want more of, or am I spending it on something that I don't want more of, right? I need to start cutting back on that. James says, certainly come at the right point, thinking time. Yes, James, I know you like to work. You like to sit on the beach and sort of like be in your computer and, on your computer and checking. We need that thinking time to choose intentionally what it is that we want, and also to reflect, are the choices that I've made this week, this month, this year moving me where I want to be going? Are they creating the relationships that I want to be experiencing, whether it's personal, professional, even ourselves, right? How we treat ourselves and comment and talk to ourselves. Thanks, Rhonda. Kate, for me too, but I'm definitely better at it than I used to be. You are, Kate, I've got to say. And it's amazing. And here's the thing is when we pause and when we start thinking about it, we can see the connection to creating more space throughout our day. Less tension. Our shoulders can drop because we're intentionally saying no. When we're pausing, we can align, we can connect the dots. And that's a lot of the work that I do with my clients, as leaders, as business owners, to be able to connect the dots between your choices and where you are specifically, how you've gotten here. All of our actions, all of our choices have created the results that we're experiencing in this moment. Pause and make sure that the results that you are living right now are the results that you want. Do you seek more balance, more alignment in a different area? And if so, what does that look like? Who do I need to be in the moment in order to achieve that? And what habits do I need to implement, to put into place so that I can start creating that life that I want? It's all about habits. It's FM Alexander said, we don't determine our success. We determine our habits, and our habits determine our success. I may have misquoted it slightly, but it's essentially that, right? We determine the habits. We decide what the habits are, good or bad. And that determines the outcome, because those habits have us acting in order of priority or way out of priority, watching yet another cat video. Kate, pause. Oh, I love that. I found a new hashtag. Thank you. So in summary, let's just say we need clarity on specifically, what does balance look like? What is the life that we're seeking? What is the business? What is the life that we want to build so that we can then back out of it? That's the long-term vision. So that we can then back out of it and build a business in context too, so that we can make the choices in our business in context to what it is that we want to be experiencing in this one big, beautiful life. People, this is not a dress rehearsal. What do you want more of? And set out to achieve it. Not all at once. It's incremental. We cannot go horizontal and vertical at the same time. As Scary Keller says, success is sequential. It is not simultaneous. Yet how many of us behave like everything counts equally, right? Everything is of equal importance. It's not. And in order to determine that, we need to back up and look at the choices. Yeah, I want more ease. Kate, I love that you said that, because ease is a word that I hear from my clients all the time. I just want more ease. I want a little more flow. I want my shoulders to drop down, off from my ears. And the only way that's going to happen is for you to schedule some thinking time. I'm going to be totally honest. On Tuesday, I had a meeting that rescheduled. And I was having such a hard day Monday afternoon. I was all agitated. I mean, I love the work that I do. I get out of bed to read and to learn, but I was just agitated about having to reply to emails, having to. And then Tuesday, when my session rescheduled, I got out of bed at my usual time at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I put on my yoga clothes and went to make my tea. And I paused and I said, I don't want to do this. I am taking the morning off. I took a mental health day on Tuesday. I didn't have the next appointment was until 2 o'clock. And I've got to say that alone has created more balance. Just allowing myself the ability to let down, to look at, I needed, especially given COVID. Who here is struggling with trying to get everything done? You're just playing that whack-a-mole, and it's throwing us more out of balance. We're homes. We can't go out and we can't really socialize or network that much. So we may as well work. But we do need to pause. We need to step back and relax and look at, again, and I know I said it 100 times, but I want to drive this home. The choices that we're making are creating the results that we're experiencing. 5 a.m. Yes, Kate, 5 a.m. But I am in bed by 9. So I am a wild, wild woman, I'll tell you. So again, in summary, get clear on the life that you want to live and the business that's going to sustain that life, and start creating what I call the fulfillment framework, looking at what does fulfillment look like and what are the things that you need to put into place. Get clear on you, your identity, what it is that you want. Get clear on the business, the goals, the outcome, what success is to you, whether that's 20,000 or 20 million a year. Establish your goals. Get super clear on those goals so that you can then back out of it and create the priorities that you can focus on and intentionally make choices so that you can create the strategies, goals, priorities, strategies, your GPS, your framework, however you want to phrase it, so that you know what is extremely important for you to achieve at the end of this year, so that you can determine what is it that I need to focus on this month that's going to drive the results for my year, and therefore, what do I need to be focusing on this week? What is my success list? So that I can start taking that 80% off and focus on the 20%, the Pareto principle. Extreme Pareto, people, it will do you beautiful service. Okay? Gain that clarity, set that intention, time block the work that you need to get done that's going to move the dial on where you want to go, and start saying no for you, for the people around you. When you are tired and exhausted and agitated and thinking you just need to show up for everyone else, you're doing a disservice because you're not showing up the way that you want to be showing up. You're making a frustrated impact on someone else. So look at how are your choices? Are they creating more of what you want, or are they really moving you in the opposite direction? James, very true. COVID situation has certainly disrupted my work pattern, meaning I'm working longer than normal. I am working longer than normal as well. And it's so easy. I don't have TV, so I'm just going to sit and, create some content or whatever it may be. But I'm realizing that's what kind of put me into that I need a mental health morning on Tuesday, just to pause and just play, have my tea, look out the window, watch the snowfall here in Vermont. James, you probably don't have that in the Canary Islands. So gain clarity, establish some boundaries, let people know that you can't do something. Choose intentionally who you want to be and what you want to let go of, and choose intentionally the people that you let into your life, and create those boundaries. I like to think of boundaries as a garden around your beautiful gate. You get to allow people in when you want to and not when you don't, but it's protecting everything that's important that you're growing and building. Care for yourself first. You'll be able to care for all the others and serve at a much higher level than you would ever anticipate. So that is what I have for today. I will say, if you have any more questions, please pop them in. But next week, I am interviewing Finka Jerkovic. She has written a book called Selling from Love. Super excited to be chatting with her next week. It's noontime on February 11th, noon East Coast time. I hope that you can join us. And if you have any questions or any comments, please feel free to post in the chat, and I will certainly go back in. Carve out time for yourself. Make sure that you're enjoying this one big, beautiful life, and spend some time just thinking throughout your day? Is the choice that I'm making where I want to be going? Is it moving me where I want to go? Or is it not? So thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. If you want more information, you can just check it out in my profile where you're on, whichever social platform that you're on, or you can also reach out to me at lisadanforth.com. And as always, to your success. Thanks.